Hey everybody, this is Chris DiFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break today. I'm really glad to have you along today. And how's your week been? I hope it's gone really well. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about professionalism. But before we start, I do want to make sure that you know about a really fantastic film called The AeroPress Movie. The guys over at European Coffee Trip, Aless and Reddick, have put together an amazing film that's just packed with a lot of story regarding the invention of the AeroPress, which is amazing in and of itself, and also the just surge in popularity of the AeroPress across specialty coffee with the invention of the AeroPress competition, the World AeroPress Championships. And so they dive into both aspects of the device and the culture surrounding it. Really fascinating, entertaining, and I highly recommend that you go to aeropressmovie.com. You can watch the film there. You can find out where there's screenings of the movie, or you can also find out at that website how you can screen the film in your town. So yeah, check it out, aeropressmovie.com. All right, so today I wanted to talk about professionalism. This is a category that we like to use in our LinkedIn bios. It's something we consider ourselves. We're coffee professionals. Professionalism is a very broad word, and it's a category also in competition. And it's a category which justifiably has become the center of a lot of debate in competition because it's been applied in several instances in biased ways. And there's a lot of talk about how to define professionalism, and I wanted to just give my thoughts here about this as it applies not only to competition, but also to what we expect from ourselves and the people who work in our shops. So I believe a great way to think about professionalism is not just what you do for a living, that you're a professional because you get paid to do it. That's a real, it's too basic. I think professionalism is a mindset. It's actions and it's a mindset bent on leveraging your skills and acquiring even more skills to provide for others an experience. In our industry, that means a coffee experience. And a professional is somebody who comes into work with the goal of not only serving, but improving their skills in such a way that they continually improve on that service. And so, in a nutshell, I think professionalism is the skillful and servant-hearted execution of your craft. You know, it's a combination of hard and soft skills, and it must include room for personal nuance and expression. And I think this is where we get a little bit mixed up. So, let's look at it this way. Let's look at it as we do the coffee plant. It's in peril now, or it's very fragile because of its lack of diversity as a crop. And our shops, if they are homogeneous, and we force people into a robotic and sterile form of behavior and expression, for fear of offense, we will in the end lose our edge. We will become more fragile as an industry on the retail end of things. It won't feel right. It'll feel weak. It'll lose its resilience, and you won't be able to connect with the humans who frequent it. Because, the way we define professionalism now oftentimes is based on an effort to remove the risk of the human experience and, risk, quote unquote, the risk of the human experience, because it's not always perfect. It's not always what we would call professional. We've all been to a place where you would say they're very professional, but it felt very sterile. It felt just soulless. And I think approaching professionalism like this is a mistake. We need people to approach the people they serve with a mind to connect and serve without being expected to remove their personalities at the door. We fear the bad service experiences, and we actually do need to hold each other accountable for behavior that's genuinely damaging to the business. Nobody's arguing that you can just do what you want at work. Then use the excuse, well, I'm just being myself. No, we sign up for upholding a particular set of standards when we put in our application to work at a shop. We all understand that. What I'm advocating for here is something for both judges of competitions and owners of shops, that we articulate make room for in the structure of these organizations. We articulate that while we have codes of conducts and we have rules and regulations like we need to have in organizations, we also have every desire to see you as an employee or as a competitor flourish and put your stamp of individuality on these things that you're signing up to represent with your unique skill set and your unique personality in a way that makes you proud and accomplishes the tasks that you signed up for. In competitions, we've had female competitors scored down for behavior that men would not get marked down for, or maybe even get rewarded for, being passionate versus being intimidating. In cafes, we have manuals that are so rigid in what we can and can't say or do that employees are fearful to make the wrong move. They're not trusted, and it's clear that they can't put their heart into the work. And we wonder why their heart is not in the work. We've told them on many fronts, on both fronts of competition and at the shop level, that their heart is the problem, that their uniqueness as a person or their culture is a problem, and their humanness is a problem. And it needs to be codified out of existence, out of the picture, in the name of consistency, in the name of professionalism. This is something I think that is largely unintentional. But rectifying this is something that has to be very intentional, because I think we tend to slide towards the sterile, towards the homogeneous, towards the non-diverse side of things. So the human nuance and leveraging masterful skills in service of a great coffee experience are not mutually exclusive. It's fear and bias often that make these things enemies. So when it comes to professionalism and how we view that as a category on a score sheet, or the way that we view the people that work in our cafes or ourselves even, I think we need to give room and make sure that we are putting in place a structure that allows for and celebrates the diversity of our community and revels in the variety around us. Invite it to the table. Include it in what it means to be a professional. Examine what messages we've been sending inadvertently, or maybe overtly, through the different mediums of competition and what we show to people in our shops. And just like the coffee plant itself, the more we invest in, celebrate, and fortify diversity in our shops and how we express professionalism, the stronger we become, the more professional we become. I hope that this helps us pursue professionalism more so with a mind to reward and celebrate the variety of diverse ways that it can be expressed within our industry. And we'll see you here next week for another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.